Y'all, I've been sleep clearly. There's just been a lot of things going on in Shalaki's life. But when I tell you the family business, New Orleans, Nola is hitting. Listen, shouts out to Lovely Bloom. Shouts out to Makedra. Listen, the people been telling me, and I have listened and I take notes. It's such a good show. It's such a good show. Now listen, I watched it on BET Plus. Shouts out to BET Plus. I'm now getting into the Family Business, the original one. They got 5 seasons, so it's gonna take a while. So I'm getting into that just to connect the dots with the Family Business New Orleans. Because it's a spinoff from that, and the families are connected. They're the cousins of the original Family Business, the Family Business New Orleans people. So I'm just trying to connect the dots and get the names and learn the history and all the things. So there's some stuff I'm still blurry on. So spare me. Because like I said, I've never watched the Family Business, the original. But my spirit, was just rattling. I was just like, I'm going to get into this Family Business New Orleans. It was only 7, 8 episodes. So I was just like, I still have time to get into that. And the Family Business, I'm watching, but I'm just, catching when I can. Because it's 5 whole seasons, child. So it's a lot to go through. A lot of characters. So, yes. And I have honestly just kind of decided to just go through Black shows that I've never watched before and just give like a recap of them and just give a review. I'm really like inspired by that. There's so many great shows on Hulu and there's shows on Prime, Amazon Prime, and Paramount Plus, and it's just so many Black shows that don't get new Black shows that only get a couple of seasons or 1 season that are great shows, but just don't get, canceled. And I don't think this is going to be the case with this show I'm talking about, but I'm just saying so many. Riches is one on Amazon Prime. So good, right? Harlem. I mean, it's just, we can go on and on, really. So it's just going to be shows and maybe like a couple of movies that I, want to check out. I may just talk about on my channel just cause, right? Okay. So anyway, so it's been 8 episodes. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna do this. Okay, so it's starring Layla Rashawn, Brendan T. Jackson, David Banner, Pooch Hall, Yvette Nicole Brown, and it's based in New Orleans. They are the Duncans, a branch of the Duncans, from the Family Business. They're the Duncans too. I think that Big Shirley, Layla Rashawn's character, she runs this casino called Midnight Blues. It's been in their family for hundreds of years. And it's they make big money. They do the thing. So the premise of the show is there's this guy named Pierre who ends up getting, cut the bucket, because he's a big gambler. He always comes to Big Shirley's casino to gamble. He always loses. And so they end up finding his body, child, outside. Somebody done offed him, right? And so he is unfortunately the brother of a big drug lord, a big kingpin, a really big person that don't nobody want to mess with in New Orleans, called Jean LeBlanc, right? Which is David Banner's character. And so that's the whole premise. And there's this character named Skunk. Skunk is one of the guys that frequent the bar constantly. Kind of I wouldn't say a con artist, maybe a little bit of con artist. Just kind of, one of them begging type people. People's always hanging around. They're always asking for favors. I mean, we have them in our family. So, I mean, they don't mean no harm. They just agitate and just, always want a deal, a break, or I got something for you. And, the guy that bring the DVDs at the barbershop, the same kind of person. So, he sees Pooh Charles' character, Floyd, which is Shirley's brother, he sees him and Marquise, which is Big Shirley's son, played by Brandon T. Jackson, sees them put the body in the trunk and drive off. So it's this whole thing of who got the body, who did the thing. It's just a mess. And Jean LeBlanc, he puts out this $100,000 prize to anybody who is willing to give up the details, because they done paid Sheriff Clay, which is the town's officer. She got some shady stuff with her too, but they all kind of grew up together, so they all know what time it was. But anyway, Big Shirley and her connection, she paid, Marquise actually paid Sheriff Clay, who used to have a crush on him back in the day, to just keep things quiet and to just, make this whole thing go away. And so she kind of, covers it up and stuff. But this was, meanwhile, Jean LeBlanc, he's offering this $100,000 prize. So there was a couple of guys that actually saw some things as to what happened, right? They know that he was taken out, but they don't necessarily know how or who. But they was willing to do whatever for that money. So Big Shirley and her cousin Monique, which is Yvette Nicole Brown, ends up taking each one of them out one by one, because snitches get stitches. And that was hilarious. Baby, when Monique had that white man hemmed up on the fence and was phone check. When I tell you I screamed and hollered and hit the floor, baby, that was so, I was screaming. And Floyd, he's going around capping people. It's a mess. It's a whole mess. Floyd is messing with the Voodoo Queen, which is my girl from Lincoln Heights, and Kiki. She played Kiki Palmer's sister in Akeelah and the Bee. Is it Erica Herbert? I think that's her name. I love her. Anyway, she plays this Voodoo Queen, and she makes Floyd wears his chicken neck, and it's for protection. But the thing about it, with messing with her, is that he can only get turned on from her to, have intercourse, and it's just a whole lot of stuff. Jean LeBlanc, he also has a wife, beautiful woman, and her sister, which is our good sis from, Meet the Browns and Why Did I Get Married, Trina. And, we love, she's so pretty. So anyway, Jean LeBlanc's wife, name is Marie. Marie is unsatisfied with Jean LeBlanc. Jean LeBlanc is married to the streets. Period. He's married to her, but she's just a trophy. He has this beautiful lifestyle. He has a daughter, not by her, but by somebody else. He created this beautiful lifestyle with all bad, drug money or whatever, the street money. And he just wants her to just sit at home and whatever and go shopping and look pretty for me, and I'll be home when I be home. Whether it's a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, just be happy when you see me. She's tired of that. It's a mess. I definitely did not expect the things to go the way that they went on the show with her, when I tell you. So anyway, they're in trouble because Marquise, he ends up getting nervous. Big Shirley sends him off to Houston, but he ends up going to New York to see the cousins, which is the original Family Business cast. Some of them, where LC is, and Vegas, and cousin, what's her name? What is the girl's name? Lauren and cousin Curtis, their brother and sister, and all the things. He was just like, look, we in trouble, y'all. We need help. Big Shirley don't want to consult with LD, which is the patriarch of the family business over there. I do know that. And his crazy brother, Larry Duncan, who's a little off. They, had rivalry and stuff on the show. I know a little bit about that. But Larry Duncan is there, child, and so is his wife, played by Bernadine Stanton, um, Thelma from Good Times. I just love I just love it, the blackness of it all. Just when I see these characters, I just love the fact that they're working, and I just love, they're just a part of our history, and I just anyway. Um, so anyway, Marquise convinced them to come to town, right? Because he's nervous about the family, because he was like, the LeBlancs is after us, and LeBlanc has a whole crew of people. That's his goons, basically, a whole stack of them. What do they call themselves? The Crescent Crew, I believe. They all wear purple. They're all fine, too. No shade. All of them. Just was like, ooh, all the shades. I was like, ooh, I want the little lesbian. The lesbianist. Y'all see, her real name is As Marie, I believe. What's her name? Kendall on there with the turquoise hair. She does something to the doll. I said, ooh, am I lesbian? I don't know. But I like her. She's cute. And the little chocolate one, what's his name? Chris or Sean, him. And, Jensen Atwood from Noah's Ark. I've always had a thing for him. He's the main guy, Saint. Now, Saint's girlfriend, Antoinette, is the city's whore. And she's messing with Marquise. Like, they're, like, in love. They knock in the boots. Shirley walk in, see Marquise. And Antoinette work at the club at Big Shirley's Midnight Blues Casino. It's a mess. It's a mess. Saint is crazy in love with that girl, and that girl is for the streets. Beautiful girl, but she's for everybody. I had her. So, So, it's just crazy. He's wildly in love with her. He ends up trying to take Marquise out big on behalf of her. John LeBlanc. It's so good. It's so many moving parts to it. Lauren, the cousin from New York, she ends up falling for Prince. Prince is Saint's brother. Prince is played by Quincy. What's his last name? Quincy, not Quincy Jones, is it? That'll be Short Son, child, Quincy. And she don't know. He don't know about her and her family, and he don't know about she don't know about him and his crew and the whole Crescent crew. Anyway, Larry Duncan end up meeting with his wife Dee Dee, Bernadette Satin, which is Lauren and Curtis's mom. And they don't know, crazy Larry Duncan done escaped wherever he was, and he taking Viagra to get ready for Dee Dee. It's a mess. That man is hilarious. So it's a lot of stuff that Big Shirley don't know, right? She didn't want Marquise to ask them for help, but they down there now, and so she ended up letting that go. But she didn't know all the moving parts, and nobody knew that LD was in town, child. So I think that Shirley, Layla Rashawn's character, I think that she is she LD and Larry's sister? Maybe is she their sister or something? I was a little bit confused about that. Is she the sister or just like a first cousin or something? I'm a little confused. If y'all can help me out with that part. I was just like, oh, how is... Like, I get that they're, related, but I'm trying to... I feel like LD and Larry is probably their brother and sister. Anyway. So, because Dee Dee is her sister-in-law, so that has to be the thing. So it's a mess with that child. And Curtis ended up falling for Marie. Marie, who's John LeBlanc's wife, child. That's a mess too. I said, what's going on? Because John, he leaves her like he always doing something in the streets. And it's a mess. There's this guy from Miami who they beat up. He was in Pierre's car because they knew nothing about Pierre at the time as to how he passed. So he was in Pierre's car. They beat him up. He was a big drug pen in Miami. They ended up working it with him and stuff. Another character who came into the show, Gabriel. Gabriel is played by Orlando. Is it Orlando Brown? I feel like it's on anyway. Old boy from Drumline. He's been played in many stuff. the head guy in charge. He ends up tracking Shirley down. Like, he's literally been looking for Big Shirley for years. He ended up tracking her down to fulfill some crazy childhood fantasy. Big Shirley used to be a woman of the night back in the day before she changed her life around. And she ended up giving it to him real good because that's her job. That's what she's supposed to do. She's supposed to be good at her job. And then he ends up tracking her down and following her, finding her for years. He been trying to follow her. He done hide in private investigators. He been trying to get Big Shirley for years. He ended up tracking her down finally. And he's willing to pay her $5,000 to sleep with her. Big Shirley's a fool. When I tell y'all to throw off our clothes so quick. Child, please. But she don't want that man, child. And, it brought her back to her past of being a slore. So, that was crazy. Floyd ended up beating him up, and he's a fool. He, at one point, Saint got arrested for taking out one of the guys at the club because he said something about his wife as if she's a, godly woman or something. They ended up arresting him for that, but he got money. He does whatever he do. Financially, he ended up getting him out of jail, and that's when Saint went to go get out the Marquise for messing with his wife. Child. So he out just mad because Big Shirley won't give him none. It's a mess, girl. It's a mess. LD them crew, Larry Duncan and the crew was out eating, and they overheard the Crescent crew talking about how they gonna take Curtis out, which is Larry's son. And then, what's the name out? Big Shirley's son, which is Larry's nephew, Marquise. And so they end up taking them out first, the whole crew, except for like 3 or 4 of them. And so they end up going back with Jean LeBlanc. And then one of the girls and guys, they're a couple that drove Larry to New Orleans. They end up seeing the rest of the crew that they did not take out. So they went to go take them out, but they end up taking old girl out. And that's in Larry's crew. And it's just starting the whole family roar. And meanwhile, Lauren, Larry's daughter, is falling in love with one of the ops members. Quincy, Albie Chore's son. It's a mess, girl. It's a mess. It's a mess. Saint and Marquise rolling around on the floor playing with rifles on the casino, and somebody ended up getting capped. But I think it was Saint who ended up getting taken out because I think Marquise is gonna live. Listen, the show is amazing, and the biggest kicker of it all is that Marie Jean LeBlanc's wife and cousin Curtis. Mistress, she ended up being the one that took her husband's brother out. Now, did she do that just to get her husband attention? Take his brother out? Or what? We don't know the reasons, but Marie is child. Marie, girl, you in for it. So I just don't know. And this whole thing with Big Shirley thing, yes, they hid the body, and yes, they did that. However, they did not take Brother Pierre out. It was his own wife that took his brother out, child. It's a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. I love the show. I need the show. I hope that it comes back. I don't know when they're going to be new episodes. Maybe it's new episodes now. I got to check BET, but girl, it's so good. It's so good. Yes. Many more stuff to come. With that said, I'm Mr. Chalaki. Mr. Chalaki on Google Plus. Follow me at Iskizzo on Instagram and Twitter, at Iskizzo89 on Snapchat, Chess King on Facebook, Mr. Chalaki on Cash App, PayPal, and TikTok. And as always, run me my money or run me my fade. Run me my money the way I get paid. Stay black, stay tuned. I'll see you guys later.